right, Cubs fam, we had an amazing announcement earlier today. Star Wars games is no longer going to be exclusively created by Electronic Arts, opening the door for so many other developers to join the party. And today, I am joined by Eckhartsladder, premier Star Wars YouTuber, to talk about EA, what they've done with the license, and what we have to look forward to in the future. Go ahead and punch it, Chewie. Fam, like I said today, joined by Eckhartsladder. Eckhartsladder, this is your second or third time on the channel. Glad to have you back, man.
Thank you. I love the high energy intros every time. It gets me hyped up. So
I just get excited. I've had people before tell me, like, Cubs, you don't need to yell at your camera every time you do a video. I'm like, I just get excited. I get to make YouTube videos for a living. Yeah. It's so cool. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to talk about Star Wars all day? Like, it's great. You should be excited.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, Eckhartsladder, while we got you here, everyone be sure to go check out him, sub to his channel if you aren't already. Eckhartsladder makes amazing videos breaking down. I think some of your most interesting videos to me are the videos breaking down what would happen if, like, an Imperial fleet attacked the U.S. military or things like that are just really, really interesting subjects. So be sure to sub to him. Now, Eckhartsladder, I want to get your opinion. You are super involved in the Star Wars community in general, and in particular Star Wars gaming. How did you feel this morning when you woke up to this news that EA was not going to be the exclusive development studio anymore? We're getting an open world Star Wars game, etc.
I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who wasn't excited. Anyone who didn't have EA stock or who didn't work at EA anyway. Yeah. And just to be clear, I've really liked at least the past two EA games. I've really liked. Yeah, especially Squadrons. Fallen Order has been great though. But I mean, we are not losing those. If we were losing the EA brand, I would be a little bit bummed out. But I mean, we're getting to keep what we already have, and we're getting, you know, we could have 10 times the amount of Star Wars games. So it's hard to be anything but really excited.
Absolutely, completely agree. I like how you phrase that too, because I would have actually been bummed too if EA just got completely cut off, because I want Fallen Order 2. There's titles that they've made that I think are really great, and we're going to rank them here in just a second, like I teased in the video. But we kind of get the best of both worlds here, where we're able to still enjoy those EA titles. It's something that we talked about in your video that I think is important to call out is the problem with EA is a little bit complicated, but I think in summary is mostly not rooted in quality of games, but just quantity. We didn't have very many. Only 4.
Yeah, no, only 4 really, which is just not enough. Like, Star Wars fans can support a lot of video games at one time. Like, there's a very big audience and a very big player base for any Star Wars game you put out. So yeah, there needs to be more than that, and the industry has a lot of room to grow. So
we're hungry for more games, and I think we're gonna get it. I mean, I did call this out earlier today in case you missed it. Here's the post here. The Star Wars gaming galaxy is about to experience its own big bang. And then at the end of the article, they are saying this is just the beginning of what is going to be a very exciting year for Lucasfilm Games. And so I do think we've got a lot to look forward to. Now, we're going to talk about what we have to look forward to here in a bit. But before we get into that, let's rank Eckhartsladder. Shall we rank all 4 of the AAA EA exclusive games?
Yeah, I mean, I think Squadrons was AA, but yeah.
True. We'll call it AAA just for fun.
Yeah.
All right, so last place. I think we can both agree on this one. Battlefront 1, 100%. Yeah. Why last?
It was half baked. It was rushed to release, you know, in a very profitable Star Wars year. It was really just multiplayer. There was no campaign really. There was some quick action stuff. There were parts of it that were cool. I think it was an absolutely beautiful game. There were parts that didn't make it into Battlefront 2. Like, one thing that I always remember getting really hyped about is in like the battles, if your team was winning, there were like the space battle above, like the Star Destroyers would start crashing and stuff.
Yes,
that was really cool. But just overall, it wasn't enough game.
Right, 100%. To me, this is the only real dud though. I would rank Battlefront 2 in 3rd place, but this is a game that I really enjoyed and I put a ton of hours into. Would you agree? 3rd place for Battlefront 2?
I'm actually kind of curious to see how many hours I've put into Battlefront 2, because like I'm the kind of person that I say I didn't love the game because it always felt a bit restricted to me. Like it's another beautiful game, but it always felt a little bit too on wheels. Like literally some of the vehicles are on wheels, but also like parts of it just kind of felt like a really big corridor shooter compared to the classic Battlefront games, which were very wide open and whatnot. That being said, I probably put like 300 hours into it, maybe more. And yeah, it was a fun game. The amount of support that it got was absolutely insane. And I know that there were more plans for it, so I'm disappointed that we didn't get to see that, because they were making a hell of a game out of it.
I hate to say it, but I think that ultimately it just wasn't making money. The community was amazing. The community was showing up, and I think that's why both of us put so much time into that game. But you know, the game got way paranoid about microtransactions because of the release, which makes every ounce of sense that they would feel that way. But I think they also lacked needed monetization to keep the game going for as long as it probably deserved to go. Now, moving on, rank 2 out of the 4. You and I disagree on this one. I'm ranking Squadrons in 2nd place, and I'm ranking Jedi Fallen Order 1st. And those are swapped for you, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make my case, and I'll let you make your case. And I think it just depends on who you are, and I think these could probably be a toss-up for a lot of you. The biggest reason why I rank Jedi Fallen Order 1st is I love good story-driven campaigns. And so it's just kind of what I want out of a game. As a fan, I love sitting down, having a story in front of me, having exciting, engaging gameplay, and playing a game start to finish, and kind of wrapping up with it, if that makes sense. And that's how I played games as a kid, and the games I think I enjoyed the most. Squadrons had amazing, riveting gameplay, a very high skill ceiling. The campaign was just meh to me. Yeah. Just meh, you know?
That's fair. That's totally fair.
But from a PvP standpoint, obviously, much better.
No, I think that's totally fair. Like, for me, it's not anything Jedi Fallen Order didn't do. Like, I really enjoyed the game. It's just I like Squadrons more, because I've put literally nearly 300 hours into the game. It's been out since October.
That's impressive.
It's really, really fun. Yeah. And like the meta is continuing to develop. The devs have already added in 2 new fighters for free, the B-Wing and the TIE Defender, plus a new map, a constant balance updates and everything. So not much more I could ask for.
A lot more support for Squadrons than I think they advertised it for at first. I remember when we were doing our pre-launch events, they were pretty clear with us. We're not updating the game. We're not updating the game. And so I think that the success of the community kind of pushed them to update the game. And I'm sure that the devs wanted to update it all along. They just didn't have a green light yet. And so I'm glad it got it. I think the game really earned it.
Yeah, the big thing, probably the biggest thing they've added so far is private matches, because now there's like a tournament set up and everything, and the competitive scene's really starting to flourish. So good to see.
So looking forward to the future, I want to talk about expectations, Eckhartsladder, for the upcoming Star Wars open. Let's just start with the open world game that's been announced from Ubisoft. We've got Ubisoft Massive. This is the development studio that brought us those Tom Clancy games. They did do one of the I'd say one of the worst Assassin's Creed games. What was it called? Revelations, I think it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not the best Assassin's Creed. Some controversy with this studio. Are you antsy about Ubisoft, Ubi Massive, I think is what they're technically called, working on this game, or are you optimistic?
Like, I'm always a bit of an optimist when it comes to Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Ubisoft has a bit of a difficult reputation. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, they sometimes come off as a bit of a scummy company generally. And that's like, I feel like that's going to be something present, like that's microtransactions, everything else present, like just on a publisher level, regardless of which studio is making it. Yeah. But I don't know, like it's hard not to get excited over a Star Wars open world game. So I'm at least willing to give it a shot. I haven't played any of the Assassin's Creed games since I think Assassin's Creed 2, so I can't really focus on that.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like the what was that shooter they did? The can't remember the shooter set in New York. I think it was.
Was it Massive that did it?
I thought so. Is that the Division they did? I think. I think they did the Division.
Tom Clancy's The Division. Yep, those are the Tom Clancy games.
Yeah. So I know some people like the first one. It's just, it's not my favorite developer / publisher of all time. But I mean, I can't. It's hard to really speculate too much about quality before we've seen anything. But yeah.
I love that you said that. It's hard to speculate about quality before we've seen it, and that's the biggest thing I would say. I do think it is easy to look at the developer and what they've done before and maybe be uneasy, but I would rather have an open world Star Wars game announced than no open world Star Wars game announced, and I'm going to hope for the best regardless of what studio is making it. Now, as far as what they're specifically doing with this game, Eckhartsladder, how do you feel? I feel like it's probably not going to be a Jedi as a main protagonist. I'm thinking we might go more towards like a bounty hunter.
I think, I'm not going to say almost certainly, but I think it's pretty likely this is a Mandalorian game. The Mandalorian's like the biggest thing in Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's those rumors of them starting to add some Mando stuff to Disney. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's like, it's such an easy subject to make a video game about, you know, an open world bounty hunting game. Is
the show is a video game.
The show is a video game. Or we play tabletop RPGs, and the show is exactly like, you know, a tabletop RPG. So, and it's just so like grotesquely popular, and I love The Mandalorian. It's my favorite thing since Return of the Jedi. But so I don't see how they don't make it about The Mandalorian at this point.
So, okay, question for you. You might know more about this than me, because when I think about this, I think I want to play as Din Djarin. I want Baby Yoda to be with me, all of that. It feels like we've moved away from the day and age where we make a video game that is just a mirror of a film or a show. Yeah. It also feels like with Star Wars games in particular, Disney is very married to this idea of this game is going to tell a new, unique story that the films and shows are not telling, but that is considered canon. How do you think that would work for The Mandalorian if we did do The Mandalorian? Do you think we just explore some in-between phases? Do you think that they do a new canon story that's beyond and link it to the shows, or do you think they do something that's not like how do you see them handling that if it is The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I'm of two minds on this a little bit, because on one hand, I don't think they have the storyline for The Mandalorian plotted out 3 years in advance. So, or 4 years or 5 years. Games take a very long time to develop. So, I don't think it will be a game that releases kind of with the exact same timeline of whatever season The Mandalorian's on when it releases. My guess is that, like, if I were to put money on it, I would put it as a prequel game, because we know there's a Mandalorian prequel book coming out. It's pretty easy to set some stories in that timeline without there being any major repercussions that you can't smooth over if you need to. The only issue for me on that is that you don't get to have the Mandalorian's cool new armor. You don't get to have the Beskar and the, you know, his new rifle. Well, I guess he had his rifle, but his spear and the dark saber, which I think for a lot of people would actually be a bit of a bummer. So, and
no Grogu.
No Grogu.
You don't need him for the game. I think I could get behind that, but I mean, I kind of want him in the game too. If we did it.
Yeah, no, agreed.
What about maybe following a different Mandalorian like Bo-Katan or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make that work too. I don't like Bo-Katan, so I hope it's not her. But I mean, I like her as a character, but but I don't like her, which is, you know, her character's written well to the point where I don't like her because she's, you know, she doesn't do good things. But yeah, that would be an interesting choice, I think. Maybe, or maybe you could even have Boba. I know he's not really a Mandalorian, but there's a whole, you know, after the book of Boba Fett, I'm sure he's gonna have his criminal empire to run or whatever else. So there's endless potentials, really, if you want to tie it into that universe, which I think you've got a good point in that. Tying it into the universe is more important than, like, or that part of the universe might be more important than the Mando himself. Yeah, open world for Star Wars, so much possibility. I would love to see a, you know, we kind of got a little teaser with it with
with Jedi Fallen Order, where you could go to different planets, but you were super limited in how many planets you could go to. I mean, imagine if we could open up, really blow up how many different planets you could go to. I think probably the #1 request I've got, I want to go to Coruscant, man. I want to go to Coruscant bad in this game, which also makes me wonder if it's not Mandalorian. We've got these High Republic books. Could we be seeing High Republic in video game form? I think that's also a very strong possibility.
Yeah, part of the problem with open world games is, especially when you get like a Star Wars game where the idea is you go to multiple planets, it's just scale. It's very hard to make one planet, you know, feel alive and interesting open world, much less to make an interesting number of planets. So like if you have a Mando game, as much as we would like, you know, the Mando to have 20 fully, you know, fleshed out planets to explore, it's just not really feasible. So like 1313 would have taken Coruscant and made that, you know, explorable to a good degree, which that might be a good compromise. But then, you know, you're in a Star Wars game where you're stuck on one planet the whole time. So anyone making an open world Star Wars game, I think, has some difficulties that they've got to figure out how to overcome.
That's exactly the dilemma I'm considering here, because I really want to see Coruscant, and I think to me, as a fan, Coruscant's one of the planets I'm the most fascinated by. A whole city planet. Oh, yeah, me too. Freaking amazing. There's so much lore there with Coruscant, too, that I think it would be fascinating to explore. Like the mountain that they can see barely, that the buildings have all come up on. And just so many things there that I would love to see in video game form. But exactly like what you just said, if you can't go to other planets, is it an open world Star Wars game? And so would you prefer, you know, 20 planets that feel shallow, or have a full flushed out look at Coruscant like what we were probably going to see with 1313? I might lean towards the latter personally, but I don't know. It's a toss-up.
It's hard to say. Like KOTOR did it well, but part of the problem is, like, I feel like art is so expensive now for a modern video game, and like it's hard to make these really highly detailed. That was probably one of the things I liked least about Fallen Order was the planet designs. Like, I thought Dathomir was pretty cool, but like some of the other ones, I wasn't super, especially where they all kind of felt the same, like very, oh, we're in a jungle planet or we're in a rocky planet. It's like,
here's the path
I want to see cities, and yeah, exactly. Like I'd like to see a city or something a little bit different, or else it's not Star Wars. It's just like, oh, we're flying to, you know, South America or Russia or wherever else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been a great discussion, Eckhartsladder. I'm sure that we'll meet again to talk a lot more Star Wars content coming. Lots of things to be excited about, guys. Again, go check out Eckhartsladder's channel down below. I did a video with him as well. You guys can go check out that video. And then also, he's got X2, your second channel. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your second channel?
Sure. So on X2, we're streaming a lot, pretty much not every night, but not in January anyway. But yeah, we're streaming a lot of Squadrons. We just put together a team for the big Squadrons League that's been put together. And we put out, I'd say 6 videos a week of Star Wars gaming news, Squadron stuff, Empire at War. So yeah, check that out if you're interested.
It's a must sub. Everyone jump on over there. So, all right, everyone.
We also do Beerio Kart, which is fun.
Oh, hey, there you go. That's about as good as it gets. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you are most excited about with all these things, and show us your ranking of EA Star Wars games down below. And as always, my brothers, don't forget.